YouTube started. You're good.
No, Joe from chat. He showed up late.
Hey. I've been in more than one meeting tonight or this week that has done that. Okay. Good evening. This is the Environmental Advisory Council's reorg and business meeting for January 16th, 2025. I am the township manager and will run the meeting up until the point in which we elect a chair. So I will call the meeting to order at roughly about 5:34 and take roll call. Ms. Sullivan-Ofini. Mr. Galuch.
Present.
Mr. Cravanis.
Here.
Ms. Mahalo.
Here.
And then my understanding is Mr. Pinto is on the way, and as soon as he is, we'll recognize him as he arrives. If we can, we'll have a moment of silence, and then we'll stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve your agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Passes 4-0. Can I get a motion for your chair?
I move that we choose or elect Sheila O'Sullivan-Feeney to be our continuing chair.
Is there a second?
I wholeheartedly and enthusiastically second.
Are there any other nominations for chair? Hearing none, can we have a vote on Sheila as being your chair, please? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Like sign, passes 4-0. Sheila, I will turn the meeting over to you and let you run the additional nominations,
Right.
and we'll go from
Right,
there.
can I get a nomination for the election of vice chair?
I nominate Cindy Mahalo.
I second that. Oh, let Dave,
I would like to second that as well, wholeheartedly and
Wholeheartedly.
enthusiastically.
perfectly.
Yes.
A motion was made to elect Cindy Mahalo as the vice chair of the EAC. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Cindy, you are
Aye.
on board again. Congratulations. Did you
Thank
notice,
you.
Cindy, we didn't even ask you if you wanted to?
Well, I don't know. They asked you either.
I know. I was paying people to take it, but there was no others. Listen, number 3, election of secretary. Oh, we're gonna have fun with this one.
I will nominate Joe Pinto.
Good idea.
I second that. Okay, Joe Pinto is nominated for election of secretary. All in favor, say aye.
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 It stands. Congratulations, Joe.
Great job,
He's
Joe.
probably listening. Okay, public comments for agenda items only. Seeing none, we'll move to item number 9. Considering the minutes for our November 21st, 24 meeting. A motion was made by
Jennifer Venus.
Veronica to accept the minutes from our November, seconded by
Second.
Dave. All in favor, say aye.
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 And that we just want to make note that there was no meeting for our EAC in December 19th of 2024. Item number 10, moving along, reports, manager report.
Yes. Yeah, so real quickly, we've done this in the past. We're going to have a meeting on January 30th that will be for all committee members. The first part of the meeting from 6:30 to, from 6 to 6:30 will be for chairs and vice chairs, and we'll discuss how to run a meeting and do those kind of things. At 6:30, we're asking all other members to come. We're going to do training on how to use our software so that anybody can get in and use our software. Specifically, we'll make sure that all of the secretaries know how to take minutes and all of those good things, but it'll also allow you to get in and see how to pull out documents, particularly if there's anything that's in an area that, like sometimes we have documents that aren't quite ready for everybody to go public. And so, there's an area for that. I would make note that we're also going to cover like Sunshine Act, how we handle right to knows, all of those kind of things. So just so that we kind of, everybody kind of knows what our training period is. In the past, we've opened it up to other township groups to come in at the end. We're not doing that this time. We're just going to stay focused just on training everybody and making sure everybody's set. And then I'll plan another committee meeting of all the committees to bring in the chairs and the vice chairs, and then we'll do that with meeting with the others. It just seems too much to do in one night, and so that's how we're going to do that.
Definitely be sending out an email.
There will be an email that's going out. We're waiting until we get all the chairs and vice chairs elected so we can set who goes to when, which will be next Thursday night. We'll have gone, well, everybody but the Bartram Bridge will be done by next Thursday night. And so we'll do everybody but them and get it out to everybody. And then that'll be the following week, that Thursday.
So all of us mark our calendars for
Yep.
Thursday, January 30th, to attend the meeting. That would be awesome. And will it be available for call-ins because Cindy will be away?
What we'll do, I'll make it available so that somebody can attend. I don't know that we'll have it so that somebody can talk, because I don't know that
Yeah.
I can have it that everybody will be able to hear.
Okay.
But we can make it so somebody can attend.
Cindy, did you do that?
Yes, I did. But Steve, I wasn't, and I will put that on my calendar and try to participate. I wasn't clear on, it sounds like the meeting on the 30th is kind of a two-part meeting, but then you said there's going to be another separate meeting?
Remember in the past, I've tried to cram in one night. We would do training for the chairs and vice chairs. Then we would do training for the secretaries and any other board members. And then I would try to bring in like the fire department and the Newtown Square and Bloom, the Business Association, and all of them, and we would go around the table. I'm not trying to do all that in one night this time. I'm going to do that, and then
I
probably
see.
sometime in
Okay.
February, early March, we'll have that typical joint meeting where we talk about things jointly.
Okay, like an exchange of ideas, not the training, not a
Correct.
training. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I'm sorry if
Right,
I
thank you.
if that was
Yeah.
confusing.
So for
Yeah,
the
okay.
I'm
Yes.
just a member of this committee. I'm not.
Yes, so you could come. I would encourage you to come because we're going to talk about Sunshine Act
Right.
and how that applies to you. We're going to talk about how to get into our software. I know some of you have been doing that all along, but it's just a reminder of how we do that. And some of the times that you actually can bring good insight to the new members. Most of our members are repeat members. Like a lot of people got reappointed. I know Janet, you were reappointed this year, and so
Congratulations.
yes.
Thank you.
Recognition for that because I never received notification.
Yeah, we're working on that, trying to get that out. So
Yes,
Well,
well,
I know it now.
let's
Yeah.
acknowledge how important it is. Janet is signed back up and Dave, so we're delighted
Yes.
for that. And
I was gonna say I guess Dave was also due to.
Yes.
get- Yeah,
yes, he was under Dane's position, so he's renewed up, so that's good stuff. All right, awesome. All right, so anything else, Steve, on that?
that's all I have.
All right, item number 11, new business, discussion and possible action on our 2025 approved budget. You did receive that, and actually Mara did attach it to our agenda items, and I think, Tim, you're able to pull it up. I think we just want to look at we set our goals for 2025 last summer when we were working on our budget, and I did send them out to everyone. Dave, do you want to just read them and make sure, but we just need to really make sure that our goals align with what we want to do for 2025. We do have our budget approved, but I want to see if anything needs to be tweaked before we go into the year. If we don't have a clear direction of where we're going, we're not going to be able to get there. So these are our 10 goals that we set for 2025, and we got to see if these are still in the vision that we all believe what we should be doing. Dave, start them up.
Okay, number one, support the township's goals and initiatives, specifically the township's comprehensive strategic MS4 and stormwater management plan so that we work together within our community to achieve our shared environmental goals. Number 2, support, expand, and grow the sustainable Newtown Square Green Business Coalition pledge to our business, stakeholders, and residential community. Number 3, increase community outreach. Build awareness among our residents and stakeholders on environmental issues and begin conversations on what they can do to change their own personal behavior to bring about greater sustainability. Include focus communication to HOA landscape and grounds coordinators, HOA landscape and grounds coordinators, and all residents as part of this outreach. Awareness, knowledge, attitude, skills, and participation. Number 4, help the township advance from Sustainable PA Silver Award to the next level. Number 5, partner with the Shade Tree Commission on Tree Giveaway Program to help plant more trees, maintain recent plantings, and meet the township's MS4 1000 new tree planting goal by 2025, end of 2025. Number 6, increase awareness of light, noise, air, and water pollution as it affects our residents and businesses' quality of life. Number 7, encourage sustainable lawn care practices such as composting, reducing lawn size, planting pollinator gardens and native plants, installing rain gardens, and reducing the amount of leaves collected by encouraging residents to leave the leaves on their property instead of putting them on the street for pickup. Number 8, advise municipal bodies by preparing land development reviews and issuing briefs. Number 9, prepare an annual report. And number 10, maintain our Bird Town certification.
Okay, so is there anything that we need to change, alter for 2025 week?
Number 6, the last sentence there, you could read that again.
Increase awareness of light, noise, air, and water pollution as they affect our residents and businesses' quality of life.
I think we should say our wildlife as well.
Okay, actually, that's a good one, Janet.
As they affect our residents, businesses, and
Wildlife.
wildlife. As we should just change.
I
the
guess we
wording
could
on
argue
this.
that our wildlife are some of our residents. Oh, I meant like, I mean,
Say that.
I've got a resident fox that lives in my neighborhood. And
Okay.
he's around more than most of the residents
As
that
they
live there.
affect the quality of life of our wildlife residents and businesses. Okay, got it.
Okay, that's awesome. We'll amend that. So I think we're, Cindy, do you have anything on the goals we discussed last year, just to make sure that we're still in that pathway? Is that where we want to be for 2025? You have any input?
Well, I'm trying to find the document. I didn't see it attached to the email. I mean,
don't
the
know why they-
agenda.
Didn't
Yeah.
see it either.
I emailed it to you individually. I don't know why it wasn't put on the agenda, but I did email it to you, I guess, Monday or Tuesday, just to make sure you had a
Oh.
fresh copy of it.
Okay, well, I didn't have it in front of me, but it sounded,
Yeah,
you know, I
we
recognized
dug
what
into
he
these
said.
During the summer, we dug into just to make sure this is where, when we were doing our budget to
Yeah.
align it. And you know what, Cindy, there's always some opportunity for us to tweak this as.
Oh, there it is. I see the goals. Yep.
It's a living document. As long as we are staying true to what we want to do, what we need to do, and the obligations that we have to the township in terms of providing them, and as an advisory role, we support them in all their endeavors. Steve, I do have a question regarding our budget. Now, everyone did see a copy of the budget. For the trees, I thought you mentioned before the trees were not going to be on our budget because,
It just didn't get moved to the other spot. It was a placeholder
oh, okay.
and it didn't get moved to the other spot. And so he didn't remove it. It just got placed there.
Okay, all right, so,
So does that mean it will be moved to another spot?
Eventually, yes, we're going to get it moved, but we just didn't get it
How
done.
with the EAC?
Yeah, it'll get moved under shade tree.
Yeah.
Okay.
and for the budget so where it looks like, we submitted our budget for $7,925 of projected ideas. So when we net out the 6,000 for the tree investment, we're really just coming in at roughly 3,500 for EAC, not including the trees, but for EAC events. So a couple adjustments we had, and if everyone looks back, I can remind you, if you don't have a copy of the budget items that we reviewed last August and July, August and September. We had, I don't see, Steve, then the $3,250 that we had asked for the township signage of waterways and EAC projects. This was including the $2,550 for township signage of waterways.
Yeah,
So that was not.
it was not added in
Yes.
for this year.
And I think what they did is there was a couple things that were not included, Cindy, not that they weren't important, but it seems as though the budget was a tight issue and they had to make some severe cuts. So that is
I
something.
mean, we cut out of the budget close to $1 million.
Right, because you
and so-
lost roughly $1 million.
Yeah, we had a very, very tough budget cycle this year.
Because you had some properties that were reassessed.
We had a combination of properties that were reassessed down. We had a decrease in revenue actually in the real estate, in real estate tax collection, in real estate transfer tax,
Yes,
and in LST tax were all down. Projected down in permit fees, which we knew was coming. And then in addition to that, we had significant increases in a couple of areas that we had to take into account. So it was probably the most difficult budget cycle I've had since I've been here in regards to things we had to take out.
all right. We
So
were,
Steve, can I ask a question? What is an LST tax?
Local services tax, which is the money that if you work in the township, you pay $1 for every week that you work here,
Yeah,
so it's
it's-
$52 per employee. It's not when you think about it,
yeah,
per employee, it's a very small amount of money. But because we've had a couple things that happen, one is SAP is about half the size of people working here that used to. And so
home.
most of them are working from home and not coming in they're not coming into the office at all anymore. And so they had a downsizing that they had done.
Yes,
I think they went from roughly about 2,500 employees. I think they're down to about 1,500 here in town. AmeriHealth never followed through with the number of employees that they said they were going to have here in town. And then I could just go right on around. Mainline Health has cut back. They had not only the building that all of us think of as the one right there at Westchester Pike, but they also were taking a very large section of office space in what was the old part of the Ellis Preserve, the area that was the old Arco buildings. And they have slowly been eliminating positions out of that office. And so what we've experienced is that decline in that area. I mean, it's been close to like $100,000. When you think about $52 per person, that's a big number. That's a lot of people that aren't showing up at the office, even though we've had new people coming to work in the township at, the Ellis Preserve related to the hotel and the other businesses that are there. So it was a really interesting year for us, and we've been really looking at what to do going forward.
right, so from our budget,
And all the construction of, townhomes and
Yeah,
apartments, and that's not added.
it does add, it's interesting how what people think happens with all of that, right? And it does add, I think we looked at roughly about $70,000 were added to the budget for the new townhomes that came on and the new businesses that came on. There are a couple more that we think we'll get, but we don't know when the county's going to recognize those. What we've been having though is equally what's happening. And I don't know if you all received it, but I received a letter in my mail recently from an attorney suggesting that I get my house reassessed.
Yeah.
And that they would do that for me and it wouldn't cost me anything and, encourage me to go do that. And, and if people are doing that as just homes, that has an impact, but businesses are doing the same thing. And we've had several businesses do that, their assessments have gone down several millions of dollars. And so that's had a direct, even though we've had the up, I've had direct down. And so the net of that was limited to about $70,000 this year.
All right.
Thank you.
So for the 2025 budget, we still have the money for our training. We still have money in there for our events, workshops, for our sustainable programs, community education, for the rain gardens, and for the support of local watershed and things like that. So we have the monies there. We're just going to have to reinvent, what we can do and, like everyone, be responsible with the dollars, the limited dollars we have. But the tree program, I noticed as city, that's $6,000 for the tree investment versus what we did last year. So when we work with Shade Tree, we'll just have to keep that in mind. So we don't need to take a vote on that because it's already been approved by the supervisors. And that is the document that we will be working with. But it always helps. We can still deliver on our promises of our goals for 2025 with these limited resources because we've always been very diligent in accomplishing things without putting huge burden onto the township. Actually, we are pretty phenomenal. I mean, Cindy and I and everyone else usually eats a lot of these costs ourselves. So we're able to still commit to our goals with the funds that we have. So item number 10, 11.2, discussion of possible action on our annual report for the Board of Supervisors. All right, so we know that there's 10 segments to the annual report. And I know Joe is not here, but he was going to work on the meeting side. So I'm going to put him down on the meetings. The 10 segments of the annual report are just different paragraphs that we work on. And we'll, just like last year, we'll be able to give you last year's copy for you to understand. The other next section, Cindy, is
Did that
membership.
come out as a document?
We sent it out last year. We will send you out a sample copy, but we will do is we're dividing up the 10 sections for each of us to kind of start working on.
Since I don't know what
Right.
the 10 sections
Okay.
are.
I will go through them town by town because I already have some for you. I have Birdtown for you already, so Janet is in there. The membership, anybody want to work on that or be involved in that? And
May I ask you just read the titles of the
Okay.
10 so we know?
projects, there's the projects that the EAC has worked on, Birdtown, which is a separate category, and we give highlights for all of the accomplishments. Rain Gardens, and Cindy, I think you'd be great for that because you want to highlight the awards and everything else. Sustainable Newtown Square Green Business Coalition, I will take care of that. And the partnerships, we can work, David, anything that you want to work on, the partnerships or the public education community awareness, the continuing education that we took advantage of, and our 2025 plans, since we've already kind of defined them. You want to take that, the 25?
Which one? You just read like 4 things.
The
Sorry, I apologize.
2025 plans? You could just modify that. Oh, let the record show that our famous Joe Pinto has showed up. Joe, while you were not here, in case you were wondering, we elected you for secretary again. You are just so phenomenal, Joe. And in addition, you are going to be able to handle the meeting part of our annual report. So aren't you excited to come to the meeting? All right, so the sections that we're still looking at assigning would be plans, which Dave is going to do.
So
The ones that are available right now are membership. And I have a sample copy of our annual report last year. That'll be the governing, we'll show you what we need to do for each one. Projects, partnerships, public education, community awareness, and continuing education.
this is for point number 11.2, correct?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
I
I mean, I could do public education as well,
yeah, and that'd be great.
since I've wrote like half the
Okay.
articles.
There-
So
That's
figured-
awesome. Great.
I
Okay, that's
figured why
great.
not, yeah.
And there are materials that go along with Birdtown that deal with public education
Great.
as well.
Well, remember too, we're gonna get together and
We
then
can,
everyone's
I
gonna
mean, we'll all
share.
discuss
Yeah,
it, so
we're
we
gonna
can,
share the-
yeah.
And then what we just do is everyone's gonna be able to send their individual comments back and then
That's
we're
fine,
gonna
yeah.
share. We're gonna discuss this at our February and hopefully get it done in February or March at the least, but we really need to get this thing done because we have so many more important things to be working on this year. But this is good for us to reflect back on 2024, what we accomplished, where we've been. We had a really vibrant year when you start off with where we were with beginning of January. We went into an incredible event with the Sustainable Green Business Coalition. We had a continuation. I think it was from March 9th, or March 7th of last year, up until November something, we had events every month. And so I would say, great job to the EAC, all of the members. I mean, you guys gave so much of your time, your talents, your energy. You're an incredible asset to the community. I don't know if people realize how much time you give, and we appreciate it. And Cindy, that's you as well, everyone here, and all the behind the scenes is really important. So the annual report will help us kind of reflect, look back at our year, what we did, what we can improve upon. So it's more of a reflective document for us. And I hope it's read by the supervisors and the board, and I'm sure Steve Neese and everyone else. But I have 3 or 4 segments, but I think once we get the first draft going, everyone will be able to contribute. All right. Discussion 11.3, content for our February newsletter. Now, we have really done a great job with giving content to the newsletter each month. I will say, Steve, do you notice how EAC has Linda Roney has even
Yep.
complimented,
Yeah.
because we try to keep relevant information, and we, make sure that we don't overstep or bounce, but we also read into what sustainability is, because it affects so many areas of our lives. So we've got to keep with that content, keeping it. And I love this month, we did the citizen science project. So John, that's great. We want to continue that, because every month is new information. So as long as we keep the updated information, what's like
Yes.
butterflies this month or whatever, that'll be great. But Dave, I have an idea for you.
Let's hear it.
Zero waste. And it's going to be focused on the 7 Rs. And I'll kind of give you some information about it. But really, when we're looking, the county has a goal of 0 waste. And I think it's by 2035. Is that is 2035 their goal for the township of 0 waste?
I didn't hear what you,
Is the county's goal for 0 waste, they hope to achieve that in 2035?
I don't know the year off the top of my head, but I
So
can
it's-
find out.
But what we really want to look at is what's reasonable in terms of 0 waste. And we want to see how you can apply it. So I'm going to give you the 7 Rs, and I can help guide you through that, Dave. But you're going to do a bang up job on that. And you really will. Well, because every time you do, you learn such incredible things. Cindy, I have an idea for you, but I want to see what you think about something.
I don't have any ideas.
Oh, but I do. Listen, what about PPAs in the water? It's something we need to kind of help articulate the concerns, what it means for the average.
Yep, sure.
And I think it will be timely, because we're going into spring. We have a little bit of a lull before we get into that, February is a quiet month. People can things, and I think that would be a really good attentive piece. Janet.
Okay, yep.
Looking at you, do you want to go into invasives, and what do you think? Anything you have?
Well, I know I'm leapfrogging into the following month,
Yes,
talking about the migratory, global migratory
yes.
day. And this year they're supporting communities. So it's a great opportunity for us.
Well,
But
we
but
will
I don't have
highlight it.
anything that I am thinking
Okay,
about for
I,
February.
so, for our February event, if indeed it gets out in time, it should be published, but we will have her repeat the Great Backyard Bird Count, because that will be that weekend. So we'll ask her to repeat that as well.
Okay.
Okay, and if you think of something else, I would like to have something for the kids too. So if anybody has an idea, get back to me, but we want to keep it fresh. And they seem to really appreciate memes or, graphics. Well, because
That's true.
people,
The kids love the memes.
20, 30 seconds, they're going to give you to look it through. And if you don't catch your attention and grab their attention, they're not going to click into it. So that's important. And also too, if possible, whenever you're looking at the township website, share the township's website on your social media or to those community programs, communities things, because it helps the algorithms share this, because the township cannot share to those community pages, like Facebook pages and stuff. So as you'll see, that's why I'm always changing those up. All right, item number 11.4, discussion of possible.
Sheila, I'm sorry, can I just jump in there?
Sure.
back to the zero waste article that you asked Dave to do. I remember, I believe that at the County Sustainability Conference in June, there was a presentation about that.
Fabric.
And I can try to look in my records, or I would just suggest that Dave, not just talk about personal steps that people can take, but maybe just put it in context of the county's 10-year plan. And this, just to give you a little bit of background, Dave, because I don't think you were at that meeting. Every county has to, every 10 years, come up with a municipal waste management plan. And what Delaware County decided to do was to go big or go home. And they said, we want to be visionary in our municipal waste management plan. We did not want to be incremental. We wanted to say, what would it take to get to zero waste? And so they really thought big and broad and deep to come up with a plan of getting to zero waste. And so it's imaginative, it's creative, it's aspirational, and I'm sure
On
you
their
can find,
website, I think.
you can find information on the website,
I'm
and
jealous.
then put people's individual actions in context of that.
Well,
You
what
know,
I was thinking,
whole-
Cindy, is two things. That's a great idea with your suggestion, right? But I think what I could do is I could reach out to Rebecca Yoakum and ask her to guest write that and put that in a separate month. But if we let Dave focus on what the residents should do, because
okay,
what the county is doing is phenomenal and it should be shared. It's important and we can help communicate that. But I think with the Target newsletter is for our residents and everyone that I speak to, they want to know walkaways, what they can do, simple,
right. Yeah.
You.
Yeah, and I realize that, and I'm not trying to co-opt
I
the
love your
article. I'm
idea.
just
I
saying,
think
if
if we could talk with
people,
Rebecca
Never
and
mind.
get her to write that would be, because that way the county can express what their goals are, and if we feel that it's in line with what we're looking at, I think that's a good idea, but I
Okay.
think,
I'm happy to circulate what I write to if we
Yeah.
want to, you guys can kind of figure out what makes sense.
okay.
Yeah.
I know for myself, I really would like addresses for where I could take stuff that I just don't want to
Yes.
put into my
Yes.
trash can.
Sure.
And so like even the drop off for the clothing and things that, we have the green drop right near the Meineke gas station,
Yep.
things like that. They're the,
CD tapes,
yes,
where do you put?
what the library will take. I mean, these are the kind of, we want to kind of gear it toward what residents, everyday resident will do and how we can help them achieve more, be aware of their waste and what they generate with. But Cindy, I love your idea too, and I think we could get the resources from the county to let them articulate their vision and we can share that. Is that okay?
fine.
Okay.
She might already have something.
Yeah, because Francine is out on leave and that's why Francine usually would be the person we would contact, so we would do that. All right, item number 12.4, discussion and possible action on assisting the placement of 20 Bluebird boxes. All right, Steve, can you tell us more?
Yeah, so the idea here was we have an Eagle Scout who's doing a project. I think he's making 25 or 30 Bluebird boxes. It's easy for somebody else to say. And we know that there's a number of them that were for some reason taken down at the Meadow Preserve. So we want to reinstall Bluebird boxes at the Meadow Preserve.
Oh, at Meadow, sure.
And then we also know that there's a variety at the other township parks. We thought what might be helpful was to see Bluebird boxes in actually people's neighborhoods, and we get in people's backyards or in neighborhoods that would actually get people interested in having that. And we thought that maybe the EAC could help the Scout locate people who would be willing to put a Bluebird box in their backyard and do that.
So I met with, I think probably this scout that you're
Uh-huh.
talking about and his mother. It was in the summer,
Okay.
late summer. to talk about the construction of the Bluebird boxes. I sent him some information from the Bluebird Society of Pennsylvania on the construction and placement and all, and, I never heard back from him. I know he wanted to make a lot of boxes and then have boxes that residents could say, I'll take a box, which
Yeah.
sounds like actually a really good idea, because more people to monitor those boxes that are in neighborhoods. If we put them in parks, we
Who's gonna
really
pay
have
for
to
it?
worry about who's going to monitor them. And I stressed that to the scout. So I'm glad to see that the project is actually moving forward.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't heard from him.
Yeah, a lot of times these scout projects take a couple months or so, I mean, my scout project, when I did my Eagle Scout project, it probably took me 5 months to get my project put together so that I could do it, because there's a lot that you have to do. You have to go back to the troop that you're in and get approval. Then you usually have to go to the council level and get your approval. And so he may have been doing all of that to get himself in the spot where he's ready to take the next step, in my
I know he
understanding.
met with George, because
Yes,
George and I
yeah.
spoke.
Yeah,
Right, and I know he needed to get this done by January, because that's when his birthday is, and he's
Yeah.
gotta get it done before.
Okay, so the EAC would be glad to, we were just wondering, because Janet brought up a concern about the management of the boxes, how they need to be cleaned out. Anything else, Janet, that, will he be providing information? Are we just giving these boxes? Because I know a couple residents that are in areas that actually Bluebirds we know are in that area, so these would be really helpful. Will he be giving any content in? These are free boxes. There's no charge to the residents.
my understanding is that he's taking care of making the boxes, getting them set, getting them ready. I don't know if he's installing them for the resident, but I know that he's at least getting them built and ready to go and onto properties.
Okay, but
We'll
will
have
they
to-
be hung on trees, or are they going to be placed on poles? What do
I,
you?
I don't
Okay.
know all of that,
Yeah.
and so we'll have to get those details from the scout.
Yes.
What we were looking for from you is if you're willing to help in that way,
Yes.
then we'll get the scout back with you and look at getting, and I told George, I'd be happy to have a Bluebird box in my backyard
I
area.
know of 4
if-
people already that.
That we could help in this process. So I think there's some opportunities there that we could do that would help and move this forward for him. But I don't know all the details. I just knew that what we were looking for is if you all were willing to help locate the residents
Okay,
that would be willing to do that, I think then we will work with the scout to talk about what are the steps that we would need to do. And what I don't know is what the council has said is that his level of commitment, he may have to install them as part of his project more than just make them. He
Yes.
may have to install them, and we'll get that information from him and we'll know what the steps are.
Okay, I'm happy to meet with him again.
Okay,
So as a matter of fact, on Bluebirds, the Birdtown, Pennsylvania is having a workshop. Now, it's not until February about Bluebird boxes and the proper construction.
Oh.
They're going to be giving it to the Birdtown leaders from our 78 bird towns now that we have. But that Zoom workshop would be available. I could share it with
Right.
the
Janet,
scout.
Can you take lead on this? Because you would be
Sure.
great to, Steve, I think if we have Janet be lead on this,
Yeah.
because that way it would be nice when these boxes are given out to residents, that they get some content to, like you said,
Right,
Janet.
We,
make
he
sure
and I had talked about education, that, it's not just putting these boxes
Yes.
out, but educating.
Perfect. All right, so Janet will be the person. Steve, we don't need to take the motion.
I think the biggest
to talk
issue
to
is
us,
as long as you guys are willing to do that and Janet's gonna take the lead, then we'll just know that and we'll reach out, get George involved and then get the connection set and make sure that we move forward.
And Cindy, Janet's gonna run that. I'm sure so many neighbors of yours would be interested as well, so feel free to make up a list. Dave, Joe, yeah, yeah, especially you're in a great area right by the park too.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have Blue Jays all the time, so.
All right, yeah,
Bluebirds.
the eastern bluebirds, they have like that reddish kind of coppery chest.
A
and
real
the
blue back.
gorgeous.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I
they're-
had one of my bird feeder today.
yeah.
Really?
So we think that they leave this area, the
Yes.
migrate, but they stay around all winter.
If they get enough brush
Right.
and debris, and if
Right,
you
yeah.
leave places for them,
Yes,
like
right,
if you
dead
leave,
wood and.
if you leave snags
Snags,
or
yes,
dead
right.
trees, allow them to overwinter and not go to their holiday homes. That's awesome. All right, so thank you, Janet, for taking that, and Steve, we're good on that. Old business, update and possible discussion and support of our sustainable Newtown Square Green Business Coalition. The conference has been confirmed for Friday, March 7th, 2025 at Dunwoody. That is in 50 days. So not only will we, and this, since December, Dane and I and Monica from Dunwoody have gone out there. We did an overview. Even this morning, we did another walk around because we're scoping out what will be the B-roll film, because we're actually, Shoemaker Films, in their generosity, will be making our sustainable video for them, which is incredible for them to do for the community. It's really important because it allows Dunwoody to spotlight what they're doing in sustainability. It allows the township to promote them for their sustainability efforts. And it also gives them something to walk away with for their residents. So it's a really positive win. So we're working on the script. We will actually be doing that filming on Friday, January 24th. And the entire community at Dunwoody is really excited about that. We're going to be highlighting their composting. We're highlighting their building, some of the things they're doing, the resale shop. I mean, just so many wonderful things. So it's a good news story, and we're excited about that. In addition, I got the executive director, Karen Wilwaw, from the Delaware County Conservation District, and she will be one of our featured speakers at the event. She's going to be looking and giving us not only overview of what the Conservation District does, but on terms of how businesses can implement it, whether it's through their business or in their home. She's going to be doing, big picture, but she's also going to stay around and be available for residents, which is awesome. In addition, if anyone knows, and Cindy, you know this, Karen, who we love dearly, has grant opportunities a lot of times. So we can always have opportunities to pick her brain as to what particular grant she might be coming down the road. And so it's really good that we're inviting her, and she will be one of our speakers. We're working on a third speaker right now, and I don't have a commitment. So until I commit to that, but really exciting event, a lot going on. Dunwoody will be, and Steve, you and I gotta talk with Susan. We gotta, finalize the invitation details. Newtown Square Business Association will be supporting us, the same thing we did last year with holding it. This is going out to green business leaders and all of the Newtown Square businesses, but this is not going to just go out to the general public. We don't, anyone that is is an official business, we invite as many businesses to take advantage of that and be a part of the program. But we really want to make sure that we're getting people that aren't just there greenwashing. We want people that are committed so we can make real change in Newtown Square. And this is a really vibrant thing. I think it's going to be great. And Cindy, for when will you be home? So we know that all the work we have to finish up for February, because like last year, the signs and all that, we're going to try to work on that. We'll talk further about that later on, Cindy.
And what day is the conference again?
Friday, it'll be Friday, March 7th.
Oh, March 7th. I'll be home by February 7th.
Perfect. Oh, and I also did confirm with Lisa Borowski's director today that she will be there. And
Okay.
also PRC confirmed that they will be attending, which is great. And again, we'd like to bring as many people into this thing that are in environmental issues and conservatory, anything of that nature, because it allows connections and opportunities for the township to shine. And it's all really good news. So great stuff. And it's going to be an exciting event. So all good stuff. All right. Any questions on that, Steve, for the thing? Anyone else that we're planning to have, all the supervisors, make sure that's on their calendar too. Anyone else that you'd like to have invited, let me know. We want to make sure we reach out to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, I mean, staff wise, Suzanne and I should both be there and then,
Absolutely.
and then,
And I'm going to coordinate with Suzanne. She's the
Yeah.
sustainability coordinator. So
yeah,
it's
so just,
same format as just we're doing.
Yep.
And if you want to, you'll be doing remarks, a couple other things, so, but all good stuff. All right, item 13.2, update on Birdtown, PA. Janet, take it
All
away.
right, well, just as we have an annual report that we need to do here in the township, Birdtown needs to submit a report as well. And I'm in that process of working on which areas or what goals in the 5 areas that we have accomplished this year. They are, the 5 areas are municipal actions, school district and youth-related actions, community and individual engagement, organization, collaboration and partnerships, and advocacy. I've kept a calendar on paper for the year, but now it has to all be done, moved to electronic. So I will be happy to share that. I really feel like we will still earn our top level, although we are light on school and youth-related actions. But we did, if you recall, we planted sunflower seeds with,
Yes.
and I've been in conversation with Sheila. I'm sorry, with Angela from the library. She works with youth, and I think that that's a good way where we're going to be able to
We did a
fulfill.
lot with, remember all the work we did with the working with Parks and Rec for the summer activities, so.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, I
right.
think you've got a lot of hours there too.
Right, yes, right. So we have things, I'm sure, in all of these 5 categories.
Yeah. Let us know if there's anything you need in terms of
Okay,
additional
if I'm
information or
missing.
support.
Right.
Yeah. And Janet, everything, the Birdtown, it is important, all the work that you do in that, because many people realize, okay, they think it's birds, it's cute, it's sweet, but the birds are indicators of our overall planet health. So it is, when they're in distress, that means that
Right.
it's coming down the line to us.
Right.
So it's important that we understand the bird in wildlife connection, and so we appreciate that. All right, public comment. Oh, we do have public comment. Hi.
Oh, here's this guy.
Oh,
We
fabulous.
just talked about you.
You want to go to the mic, introduce yourself, name and address, please? Okay, and
Just
for the
make sure
record,
it's
we
in
have,
green.
the Eagle Scout, who is our, talking about the Bird Eagle Scout project for the Bluebird House.
Yes.
And you want to give your name and address, please?
So my name is John Benko. I live in 101 Gabrielle Court in Blue Mall, PA.
Thank you.
So
John, for
yes,
coming.
so I'm an Eagle Scout. Well, I'm becoming Eagle Scout. So for Eagle Scout, you have to make an Eagle Scout project.
Right.
So me and my dad came up with the idea of making birdhouses. So I thought that was a great idea. Very simple. Get the whole trip involved. Easy process. So I did my little research. I noticed that there was been a decline in the bird population.
Yes.
So I kind of just figured out what would be like the best species to attend for. So I figured out eastern burley birds are the best. They're being competing with the sparrows. So I just thought it would be best to make a birdhouse that would best fit for eastern birds.
Awesome.
Yes.
Now, did you meet before with Janet?
Yes.
Okay, so what's great is Janet's gonna be your liaison because we wholeheartedly support your program. We're gonna help. So let's be clear, are you giving us the boxes or are you going to be responsible for placement of the boxes? How does that work?
So I've actually contacted Mr. Sheriff's. So my plan was we make 20 birdhouses total. 5 will be going into a park. It's gonna be located by Episcopal. So me and the troop are gonna place 5 birdhouses in a park.
That's. yeah, medical
Following the
service.
guidelines, obviously, of 100 feet apart.
Yeah.
In an open field, not away, not facing the woods. And then the other 15 are gonna be given out to Birdtown, obviously. And then that's gonna help benefit your guys' program as well.
Okay, so we then are gonna be getting that. So is the resident gonna be placing them on his own property or are you doing that?
The resident will be.
The resident?
Yes.
So Janet, Janet brought up some good ideas because, putting out the bird boxes is a great idea. However, there's some other logistical stuff. You want to talk about that in terms of?
Well, I think you and I talked about the importance of monitoring these boxes
Yes.
and making sure that they are cleaned out.
course.
And how did you come up with your design of?
Yeah, let's see one.
So this is the design. So when I was
Yes.
doing my board review, one of the gentlemen that I was on the board with, he gave me out a certain blueprint. It was from the Cornell lab.
Yes.
So I was just following the guidelines for the eastern bluebirds, following the shape, dimensions, the certain hole for eastern bluebirds to follow. So the hole is an inch and a quarter of the side. The outside flaps open so they can be cleaned out easily.
Okay.
During making some of them, the the flap got a little tight. So we did, it's still able to flap, or sometimes they're too loose. So we did add a screw to the side, so if they are being cleaned out, you might need to just unscrew the screw and then it still flaps open.
That's important because you don't want any other animals to get in.
Of course, yeah.
Right, right. And are these best to be mounted on a pole, hung in a tree? What is the best procedure to be?
So
have their
for
place?
Eastern bluebirds, it recommends you put them on a pole, 5 to 6 feet. We're gonna do 5 feet, just to meet in the middle, and then, yeah.
So do you have any information written up? Because Janet is gonna be your liaison person. We want to kind of make sure we just don't give this box. We want them
Of
to,
course.
understand what the box is. Do you have anything written up, guidelines or information, or, maybe that could be helpful to the resident to make sure they embrace this opportunity to have the bird box, but we don't want it just being stuck in a closet. We
Yeah,
wanna
of
make
course,
sure,
yeah. So for the guidelines, it does say it needs to be an open area, an open field, flat, away from woods. Eastern bluebirds tend to like migrate and settle in a house that's in an open area. I know that's kind of challenging for some people because there's a lot of woods nearby.
Right.
It also recommends if you're placing multiple bird houses, put them 300 feet apart from one another. You also want it facing away from the woods. So that's also something to look forward to. And
Why
then
is it faced away from the woods?
I don't know the exact details into
Okay.
that. I can also look into that, but yeah.
But no, if I could speak up, I'm sorry, I'm not in the room, but I'm listening. I love this idea of the Bluebird boxes, and I'm glad to hear that you're going to be providing information to the residents because I know the placement of the boxes is very important. Also, can I ask, you said it needs to be mounted on a pole. Are you going to be providing that pole or any mounting hardware to the residents? And if not, can you tell them where they might be able to get an appropriate pole?
Of course. So I'm using snow fences. So all it is just a metal rod. You just stake it into the ground to a certain length. That's 4 to 6 feet. I have plenty of ones that I will be mounting. If I have any extras, I can distribute that as well. And then another thought process of mine was because I'm distributing them out, I'll have a write-up plan of it, directions of what to do, why that's gonna be implemented for these birds, so it's easy for the resident to follow, and it's nothing complicated.
Now, Janet.
Great,
mentioned
thank you.
a Great idea that you want to tell them about the Eastern Bird, the conference and the information being.
Yes, when do you see putting these bird boxes out?
So I'm putting them up Sunday
Oh.
at 10 a.m. Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
And have you gone to Willistown Conservation Trust website?
I do not.
How about you and I talk?
Yeah, that'd be great. Janet's gonna be running the program we're looking for. We excited. I already know a couple people that will be exciting. Even EVAC members are excited. So, and anything else, Janet, on that?
No.
We really appreciate you thinking of nature and
thank you.
environment in your endeavor. Good luck with your
Thank you
Eagle
so much.
Scout. We hope that you are successful in that endeavor.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very
much. Sean, what was your last name?
Benko, Benko.
BENK.
Benko.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And make sure you just contact with Janet so you two.
Right, so
connect.
our meeting is about over. We'll
Yes.
just- yeah.
Yeah.
Right. All right, so no public comment, adjournment. The question is, next meeting will be on Thursday, February 20th at 5:30. Our EAC agenda items will be due on Saturday, February 8th at AM. On our EAC e-newsletter will be due on Sunday, February 9th at 8 AM, so we can have that. A couple things, usually in February, guys, we have our We Can Serve conference. This year, because there's a new director, what they're gonna do is instead of having a full day Saturday of conferences, Cindy, they're gonna break them into multiple sessions, some available during the work week, during the day, online, and some that will be available on weekends. So instead of the whole 9 in the morning till 5 at night, we're gonna have a couple options. So as soon as We Can Serve gives me the schedule, I will share that out with you. I just wanted to let you know for planning purposes. But they have a lot of great resources. In addition, remember, take advantage of Penn State Extension, some of the programs that are available. That'll be really exciting. And we were asked to give a letter of support, and Cindy and I, Janet, already had given this PRC is putting forth a request for a grant that will be for the stream programs, and it's properties that have streams going through them, Steve, and it's just for information about building up riparian buffers, planting trees and all that. PRC is trying to get this grant. If they're successful, Newtown Township will be one of the townships that they implement that in, and so we gave a lot of support that we would be welcome. There's no commitment from Newtown Township to do anything. If they get the grant, we benefit from their expertise and their help. So
Sure.
all good stuff. And I think that sums it up. Is there any-
Sheila, before you conclude the meeting, I have three things.
Perfect.
Okay, first of all, I have a suggestion that I've been meaning to make, and that is, I really appreciate how you share the upcoming dates, but it is not possible for me to write them down as fast as you say them. And it will be a month before we get Joe's draft of the minutes. Would it be possible for him or you, I know you do this sometimes, is to send out a follow-up email like immediately after our meeting, not the formal minutes, not a draft of the minutes, but just these key deadlines for us as committee members of when agenda items are due, when articles are due.
Okay.
That
so
would be
I don't know if
super
you get that, but
helpful.
I usually send that out about a week after our meeting just to give you the deadlines, but I'll do it. If you want it sooner, I usually give you a week in between because, give you a little bit of a break, but I will send that out again. Everyone, you usually get that when I send it? Yeah, I always send out a reminder.
But that's fine if you want to send it out directly after the meeting, just
Yeah.
because you have our attention, so.
Okay.
It may be good to just have it.
It's fresh in my mind.
You want
And
it right after the meeting?
well,
You don't-
the next 30 minutes, but like in the next day
I'd
or
eat
so, it
dinner,
would
is
be
that
great.
okay?
Yes, I think we'd all like to eat dinner.
I know, I'm
Um,
joking.
yeah.
Thank you, Cindy. That's a great suggestion.
Well, okay, you're welcome. My second question is about does the township have any plans to purchase bare root trees or through the PHS tree program? I, as usual, received the annual letter from the tree tender program people offering their trees this spring. And in the past, obviously the EAC was very involved in that. Now, I'm just letting it pass by because that is not our area of responsibility. But I'm curious if the township through George Sheretz or Shade Tree has any intent to purchase any of those trees.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I know George has a couple tree ideas that he's working on. I'm not sure it includes the bare root trees. With all the trees we purchased last fall, he had some trees that were left over. So I don't know exactly what his plan is. And I know they're trying to do some work in the nursery before they bring more trees in. So I'll check with
Okay.
George and I'll see if we can get you an answer.
Okay, thanks. And I asked for two reasons. One, just curiosity and concern for trees. But secondly, I know that this spring, the weekends in April and May can get very full. And that if he was purchasing the bare root trees, there's frequently a time sensitivity about when they need to be planted. And I know that pretty soon the weekends are going to start getting booked with stream cleanups like from CRC and DCBA. And I'm going to have to schedule some rain garden, spring cleanup dates. And I'm going to start looking at possible dates for those. And I want to be able to avoid possible conflicts of other events.
Okay.
Okay. And my third question is, gosh, can I remember what this was? Yes. In reading the minutes from our November meeting, that brought to mind the fact that we had submitted comment letters on the Four Seasons development off Gradyville Road, I think it is. And I wondered where that stands. It's kind of gone quiet. And I'm wondering when we expect that to.
I do not. What I can tell you is we have had a meeting with them. They were proposing actually a little different layout. We told them that we had some concern with their impact on steep slopes in particular, and also their encroachment towards wetlands, and asked them if they could really look at their plan again and see if there was a way to provide access that would be even further reducing what they thought was limited. And if they couldn't, there is one particular lot that we thought would maybe be an option to protect the environment a little bit more, particularly related to steep slopes and wetlands, by not even building on that lot. And so we sent that back to them, and they are, my understanding is they're looking at that and making a decision of which way they want to go forward.
Great, thank you. I appreciate the township pursuing that and engaging in dialogue with them.
Steve, question to jump off of Cindy, if that is going to be changed slightly, the last time we saw it was November. Will we receive those plans since they've been modified and changed?
I'm not 100% sure when they're coming back.
Okay.
And exactly what they're doing at this point. So the answer is depending on when it fits into the schedule.
Okay.
But my intent would be, if it's a significant change, then yes, I would bring it back through here. If it's a minor change from what you saw, it would probably go right straight to the planning commission.
If I recall, that entire property, that was a majority wetlands.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we'd like to see that again. Also, any update on 4605, the pickleball, the paddle?
I've
paddle
not
place?
heard anything back from them either.
And that is just still waiting, and I thought most of these aren't they past their 90 days, or did you get a continuance?
Well, they got continuances. They gave us continuances. It's in their hands.
Okay.
Like, so for example, on the pickleball, we felt that their plan was deficient.
Okay,
And in allowing the board to make a decision,
Yes.
because there wasn't enough information on it. And so we recommended to them to go back and do a little bit more homework. We also ran into some other issues on their project that we felt would be best if they addressed prior to coming into the board. Connecting to public sewer, some things like that. They were thinking of doing a temporary restrooms. And I said, I don't have a problem with temporary restrooms. I have a problem with it not being hooked to sewer and you having a pump and haul for an undisclosed period of time. And so, I said, you could even do temporary restrooms you can do very nice trailer, and I don't, let me say, I've been in temporary restrooms that are nicer than
yeah,
many restrooms that I've been in that are open to the public. And so I'm not opposed to the temporary restrooms. I just want to make sure that how the waste is being disposed, that's properly being done, and that we don't end up with a violation of DEP's guidelines. And so I recommended that they set it up so that they go ahead and do the connection on the site for the number of EDUs they need, even if they were going to do temporary restrooms, with the idea that they would be pumping or they're draining right into our system right from the start. And then when they want to build their final product, because their initial piece is to do outdoor recreation
Yes.
first, and eventually come back with an indoor fitness and some other things. And so our focus, what I really wanted to focus on with them was actually, whatever they were doing temporary would set them up for permanent in the future.
perfect. All right. I think, Cindy, anything else that you'd like to add?
Thank you.
Okay, Janet, anything you'd like to add?
No.
Dave?
Nope.
Joe? Great, all right, I think we're looking forward to make sure you mark your calendars for all of you to be at the EAC Sustainable Conference for Friday, March 7th.